So this time around, we're reading Eden, Doki Doki Eddy Club again, part two,
This is part
abbreviated.
two.
So if you want to see the full version of the story, unedited, I basically took out a bunch of overwriting,
Mm-hmm.
some poems,
Yeah,
shortened down some dialogue.
yeah. So in the first part, we cover chapters 1 to 3.
Very
Um,
normal, very normal.
pretty normal aside from weird, confusing, like name dropping things and just assuming we'll know about them.
It
Or
gets worse and worse as the story progresses.
right.
I'd say chapter 4 is a little bit strange given the context. So
Okay.
to reiterate,
Yes.
Eddie came to Sayori's house because like Obey or whatever his name is like go to her house to check on her. I guess a
Right.
complete stranger. Keep in mind that Eddie and Sayori do not know each other,
Okay.
and it's gonna get so these few chapters it gets weird. Chapter 6 goes off the rails. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Chapter
Okay.
6 goes off the rails, and then the story stays off the rails for the rest of the freaking thing.
Let's go. Well, we're gonna be
Four
reaching
to
that today,
six,
so
4 to 6. There's 22 chapters, and it gets more and more convoluted each chapter, from what I experience.
all right.
Uh, Chapter 4, Storm Chaser, Day 2, Morning. So we're still in the Storm Chaser arc. That Tower 6, that
Yes. Yeah,
woo, woo, woo.
it's the tower that got broken and gets like lightning bolts added or
And
something.
people associate it with suicide rates,
Right.
if you remember.
Right.
Right. Eddie woke to a sharp pain above his right elbow. It caused him to recoil and bolt upright. He felt a cloth bandage wrapped around his head. With a wince, he allowed his eyes to adjust on his clock at the nightstand. His clock showed no numbers. Of course it would storm. He surveyed his room, and his eyes widened when he saw the form of the girl from last night. If she's dead, I'm gonna have a lot of issues I need to work out.
Like, what does that even mean?
You shook the thought out of his head. I like the fact that I don't understand the context of Eddie's character, but I know for a fact he's not like this in the
yes.
cartoon.
Yes, it's like super obvious to tell, like, that he's
This is
completely out of character. Oh my
oh
god.
man, this chapter is very funny in regards to that. He shook the thought out of his head. To test his theory, the kid did the first thing that came to mind. E. Eddie tried to imitate his alarm clock. After a few times, he blushed, red, and embarrassed. And I'm an adult. I can pay taxes. That makes me laugh hearing that line. Because is he an adult?
He's
Like he
14, I
goes
think.
he
Right?
goes to high school and he's also like a ventilation worker.
Yeah, I thought he was 14. I thought they said he was 14 at some point,
Yeah,
but
really. I'm an adult. I can pay taxes. Can you? I can wake up a sleeping girl better than sounding like a deranged goose. Hmm? Eddie's inner tirade was interrupted by a light groan. Bloodshot, sky blue eyes met Eddie. Hey, did you sleep all right? Eddie blinked. I feel like I should remember more than I do, but I believe I did. What about you? She pulled her she pulled her left arm out from the blanket, pressing into the bandages on her neck. The arm was wrapped tightly in a bandage sheath, all the way to her fingertips. Pretty well, all things considering. She yelped in pain as her fingers grazed her neck.
that doesn't
Don't
make
overdo
sense.
it!
What?
What do you mean?
Well, she said that line so like casually, but then it's like she yelped in pain. So like how was she saying that?
I don't know. She was attached to a ceiling fan, like hanging herself. So she has a neck
Yeah.
injury, I
Yeah, yeah,
guess.
yeah. Well, I mean obviously, but it's just weird phrasing of that whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, this whole thing is weird. They phrase sometimes. Don't overdo it. Eddie spoke with a protective tone as he watched the girl try to rise into a seating position. I'm all right once I'm sitting up. She gave a smile when she finished her struggle to sit. Her attire consisted of a white T-shirt and gray sweatpants. Eddie was a little curious of how she was able to change. Really? Her expression turned forlorn. I slept in again. Even on important days like this, I cannot be relied on. I think the blackout made sure that's not an issue. I'm not talking about that. I can't even rely on myself to stay in one place so my best friend can check on me. What does that mean? You were literally like killing yourself in your room?
Yeah, like I can't rely on myself to stay in one place.
I
What
don't
does that
understand.
mean? Like in a
After
room
everything,
or like I
I
don't get
don't
it.
understand. After everything I said to him yesterday, if he goes to my room now, she starts sobbing. He's gonna blame himself. I know it. He might also question why this random stranger is just sitting on your bed with you.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably a more reasonable thing to.
Eddie, with a heavy heart, pulled himself out of the bed and he sat to the girl's right. He gingerly rubbed his palm along the girl's shoulder blades. Ah, yes, Eddie. Way to be like
Yeah, the
weirdly
gentleman.
creepily, weirdly creepily intimate with this random girl that you've never even talked to.
Well, he knows her name apparently.
Yeah, I put that preface at the beginning of the chapter because they do not know each other. Do they not know each other's
They do not
names?
at all.
It just automatically assumes they know each other intimately, like best friends for no apparent
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
And it turns it into like a shipping moment, and
Oh
I
God.
freaking hate that. It's all right, sorry. Let it out. Don't hold
Oh
back.
God.
The girl responded by pulling Eddie into an embrace. Her heart was pounding. You see what I mean by like the
This
needless
is like
shipping moment?
cringeworthy. This is terrible.
This random person that she doesn't even know the name of or doesn't know in general, but then
Yeah.
some like I hate also
I feel like there was like an entire chapter of like them getting to know each other that was just completely like that's just missing between the last chapter and this chapter. Despite the fact
it
that
feels like
nothing could have possibly happened considering the context
no.
of when this happens.
I'm so sorry for burdening you with my problems, Eddie. Sorry, sweet.
Yeah.
Her tears soaking on her savior's shoulder. That made me
Oh,
cringe when I first read
that
that.
is cringe.
I'm not supposed to feel like this. I should be grateful for all that you did for me last night. All I'm doing is showing you how much pain I am. How much of a pain I am. I hate this. I hate this story being super convoluted, and then there's this shipping garbage like this. And the author doesn't even like establish a premise for shipping.
Mhm.
Like the most they got was he saw her at the edge of a street one day and called her a sent. They noted that she was a sentient bun, and that's pretty much the preface to this whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is like so in like the original DDLC, the whole Sayuri
Yes.
suicide thing is like
Yep.
supposed to be like this big shocking moment, right?
Sure.
It's
Yep.
supposed to be, oh, she's so cheerful, and then it's like, oh my god, she killed herself. Um,
Yeah.
but this story doesn't really have that aspect to it. It's just like like if you're reading a fan fiction about
Well,
DDLC,
Tower Six.
you
Tower
kind of
Six is the reason why.
yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I know if you're reading a fan fiction about DDLC, like you expect this to happen probably, but for that
Oh
to be
yeah.
like her introduction, like Eddie's first impression of this character is her trying to kill herself. So it's like there's no like development of that aspect. It's just like, oh, you're deeply suicidal. Okay, I guess that's just like who you are. There's like no like, oh, I'm like learning more about you as I grow closer to you and I'm like able to support you. It's just, oh no, okay, it's just some like girl who tried to kill herself. Like, I don't know.
And this is also entirely accurate to Eddie's character from the original show as well. How do you know?
I mean, I don't watch Ed, Ed and Eddy enough to know how he would react if somebody was trying to commit suicide in front of him. But
Well, the next line is Eddie just rubbed her back as she cried.
yeah, he's kind
So,
of rubbing her shoulder blades or whatever.
yeah, just creep. I don't think that those. I don't think that, and those feelings don't come immediately after you first wake up from that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, way to go, Eddie, going like, yeah, you shouldn't feel like that. Like the feelings that you're feeling is incorrect. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Eddie spoke, deepening the hug. You feel pretty much the same, just more regret. At least that's how I felt when I first woke up. Oh yeah, your situation is
What?
completely the same
Yeah, like is he trying to
as
compare
Sayori.
his like just because they both passed out and woke up, like they just went through the same thing. Unless Eddie's also suicidal, as what might have
Like,
been
well,
implied
maybe.
at
Yeah,
some
he said
point.
if I can't die, neither can you. So maybe that was
Yeah.
the. Oh, that's why I'm not concerned if you can't express your feelings right now. Wasn't she doing that?
What? Why would he?
You
Okay.
just you just being there is enough for me right now. Oh yes, make it about you, Eddie.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like it will be for him.
Just like it will be not for
Okay.
him. Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was not aware he was speaking this out loud until it was too late. He was not aware he wasn't speaking English either. Like a jolt,
What?
Eddie returned to his yeah, because remember they're in Japan.
Oh, so he just knows Japanese and then he's like speaking it without thinking about it? I thought he said he only knew enough to get by.
Well, that's the thing. It was shocking to him to realize that he spoke that entire thing in
Oh,
Japanese. That
okay.
was the shocking part.
When his emotions come out, he just suddenly becomes fluent in
I I have a theory that maybe he's like a reincarnated version of a Doki from an alternate universe or
Ugh.
something. But that might just be a theory.
I'm sure that'll make sense in time.
Like a jolt, and he returned to his senses. Where the hell did they come from? He thought as he started to shake in fear. Sayori noticed this and began to move her hands against Eddie's back to reassure her that he was still safe. This feels
Yeah.
very like
Yeah,
intimate for random strangers.
Yeah, and Eddie's the
This
one
feels
who needs, like, to be
insurance,
comforted in this
yeah.
moment.
Oh, that took a lot to say, didn't it? Yeah, that took a lot to say to me about how I feel, didn't it? It wasn't even about how he felt. It was talking about how Sayori was feeling the wrong emotions.
Yeah.
They broke off their hug, and she wiped the tears off her cheeks. A light smile formed on her face as she watched Eddie rise off the mattress to look for shoes. You said your best friend was coming to check on you. What's his name? Eddie
Ugh.
mused, pulling his shirt collar and sniffing it. Takashi Sato, RMIN, rumor mill identification name that stands for, by the way, Densky. Sayori beamed. Oh, yes, yes. So you might initially assume that Chapter 3, the rumor mill, was just this, like a
Like a
rumor.
gathering of people talking. Yeah.
What the heck is a rumor identification name? What the heck
rumor
is
mill
that?
identification name.
What does that mean? If you can't spread rumors without not, do you have
Without
to
your-
identify the person that you're talking to in a weird nickname to hear rumors from them?
Yeah, without your like
Frickin'
secret
weird.
name. Despite the fact that like if this is an in-person thing, you can clearly see each other. So like
It can't be that then. It can't be that.
Yeah, it's not for anonymity's sake.
Oh my god, this is so confusing. And by the way, just for anyone reading this, you could search this up in quotation marks in Google to notify that this is the only source that this comes from. The only instance of rumor mill identification name comes from this fan fiction. Is not something you took from somewhere else.
Well, Josh, I'm sure this story will fully explain what the fuck this means at all down the path.
Eddie could feel the warmth in her voice as he mentioned her friend. Guessing you picked that, Eddie chuckled. He don't tell him that, all right? He's been trying to get rid of it. So he doesn't know that she came up with that name, and he's been trying to get rid of it, but I guess it's just a surefire thing. I'm so confused. I'm so bothered by this rumor mill identification name garbage.
I think she typed in the name for him, and then he's been trying to get
It's
rid
a
of
typing? It's a typing thing? It's on a computer?
it. You know what? I just assumed that. Okay, you know what? Who the fuck knows?
I'm guessing he never gets the majority, Eddie Potter. So maybe it's by a vote or something. Dude, I freaking. Oh. Okay. Not if he is. Not if I have anything to say about it. Sayori winked. I think I'm gonna like this town. What does that have to do with anything? Like, I
What?
don't understand this fan fiction.
What does the majority thing means?
Well, that's what I was wondering, but I was also wondering with the line, not if I have anything about it, Sayuri winked, I think I'm gonna like this town. Like, why would you
What the
say
fuck
that
is
in
this?
regard to...
Fuck.
And he said laughing, are you getting this game? Are you understanding this story?
I you know what? Let's just roll with it. I'm not even gonna
After some
bother.
difficulty with her fingers, Sayuri finished her daily preparations and then they went to find
Takeshi
Takashi Sato. Takashi Saito. And there's a random string of characters and letters. Chapter 5, Storm Chaser, Day 2, noon. And by the way, they said went to find Sato, but then there's go back to Sayuri's bedroom, so I guess that
yeah.
was ignored. Sayuri's bedroom held many artifacts from last night's revival, but God help the person who could decipher a timeline from the destruction. It sounds pretty straightforward, author. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The culprit, an 8-fin ceiling fan, laid warped on one side of the room, completely torn out from the ceiling.
Can I also
the
just
desk
say?
nearest.
Can I also just
Yeah.
interject for a minute? How apparently nobody came home at all during this time. Between
What do
the
you mean?
suicide attempt, them passing out, and then like
Mhm.
waking up the next morning.
You're talking about the parents?
Yeah, did like the parents not come home that night?
They reveal that later, actually. We're going to get into the next chapter.
Ah, okay.
But the brother and the father are away right now.
Okay, alright.
They do address that, one of the very few things.
Okay, well.
But God help the person who could decipher a timeline for the destruction. The culprit, an 8-finned ceiling fan, laid warped on one side of the room, completely torn out from the ceiling. The nearest... Was it spinning? Was it spinning during this hanging? Who would hang themselves while
On a
spinning?
spinning ceiling fan. Well, just, go out in style.
The desk nearest the door had red stained scissors stabbed into it with an illegible. Ah, yes, the classic writing a suicide note. Take your stabbed scissors and stab it on your desk. Classic, classic.
Of course.
A desk chair torn and ripped from in the back. How did that happen? A stool with half its legs broken, and a giant stuffed cow and yellow duck, all seeing, all judging, all silent. What is that supposed to mean? Kneeling in the doorway was Takashi Densky Sato, a second-year student of Kuroko Academy. Brown average cut hair, brown eyes, a thin body type with average height. In short, very average and safe-looking appearance. And by the way, that's an example of like he does not believe in commas quite often in this story.
Yeah.
He was stone-faced as he peered into the disheveled room. He was so ingrained in the image that he didn't notice someone poking his cheek trying to get a response. He didn't notice his bandaged objective.
What?
Is it like a game and there's like a bandaged objective? This is what I was wondering while reading
His
this.
bandaged objective. I think he's talking. The objective is supposed to be Sayori, right? That he was going in to see her, and his objective was to see her. That's
hovering over the kid's shoulder. You know, that makes a lot more sense. I thought it just randomly switched to game mode, and I thought there was a hovering like bandage objective.
Oh, okay.
That's what I originally thought, but your thing makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Is this normal? He usually wakes out of it by now. Sorry, he spoke a little worried. She yelped as Eddy clutched Sato's uniform from the side and shook. What are you doing, collecting moss? Who says that? Who says that? Eddy roared into Sato's ear. I'm gonna see if I have any smelling salts. That usually does the trick.
So is he just in a trance now?
Yeah, he's in a trance.
Yeah, just by looking at a bedroom, he's just in a trance.
Sayuri excused herself to the bathroom next door. Eddy gave up his attempt to wake the statue inside. Is this like a thing for meditation or something? I think it happens when he makes a decision. So it's being meta where like the player's stuck in a trance with the decision thing.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. Great.
How do you like that level of convolution, Gabe?
Ugh. I had a feeling it was gonna be like, oh, he's frozen because like it's supposed to be like a game thing, like he's in a
It
game.
that's
Ugh.
exactly what it is. Monica tried to explain it to me once, but I the fact that Monica had to explain it automatically means it's a game mechanic,
Of
by the
course,
way.
yeah.
But she got too hard to keep up. Eddie noticed something behind Sato's red tie. A gray lump of plastic rested under the tie knot. It had an egg-like shape and a smooth surface.
Okay.
What does that mean?
It's just
I
an
want to know.
egg.
There's just an egg under his tie, and it's never mentioned ever again.
Oh, is it not?
What would you think, Gabe? Do you think it would be mentioned?
Oh, I thought that was like it was gonna be okay. Yeah, you know what? Fine.
He waved his hands over Ditsuki's face. Hopefully this should be enough. I need to buy more off of Yuri when we meet at the club again. Sari returned with an orange pouch and a soft smile. With a flip and a pour of indigo powder onto Eddie's palms, the salts were brought to Sato's nose. A few seconds passed, and Pinocchio became a real boy. Sato's head jerked back and recoiled, causing his whole self to fall backwards. I don't understand how the salts make the character make decisions.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Maybe it's I don't understand this story,
So
Gabe.
so from what I assumed, okay,
Yeah,
I don't
go
know
for
anything
it.
about this story, but what I assume is going on is that basically the main character, like it's supposed to be that scene in DDLC where he sees like Sayori's dead body. So it's
Oh, so you
supposed to
think
be
it's just
so
frozen there?
so he's supposed to like be looking in at the door, but it's not like that. Like she's not dead, so it's like
It
he's
glitched out
almost
a
like yeah,
little.
he's like glitched out because he's like supposed to be going through a sequence that like no longer exists.
Oh, I never thought about that. How long was I out? Sato sputtered after a fury of sneezes. Eddie laughed, inadvertently causing the salts to enter his nose as well. Instead of sneezing, Eddie felt his body tense up fiercely in abject rejection. We found you, Sayori said, simply kneeling down. Ah, yes, we found you in front of the bedroom. Good job, guys. You did it. Sato turned his head and found Eddie. I like that concept of the main character turning over. Then there's Eddie
Yeah,
from
that's
Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie. Eddie spoke mechanically, like he was in another dimension. I'm not sure if it's alluding to something.
Oh, okay.
I never know this story. I stopped the maiden's sacrifice to the lava tube. Not sure what that's
Yeah, I
referencing.
don't know what
Gonna
that
be
means
honest.
either.
I saw the rope, Sato spoke, looking up. His breathing became shallow. Eddie's face dawned in horrible realization. I didn't cut the rope. The plan was to mask the entire episode as a freak accent. He knows. I don't understand what their plan was here.
Their plan
What does
was
that
to
mean?
not make it look like a suicide, basically.
He knows. Near the door was a blood-marked rope. A frame cut in the front was what kept it from being. So they tried to do it like a suicide, but they forgot about the hanging noose from the ceiling.
Yeah, of
Good
course.
job, guys.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah.
Basically, like the only thing that is extremely indicative of that.
I think that's pretty much the only thing they would have to
Yeah.
change. I
Yeah,
think
everything else could
actually
just be like, oh, well.
freak accident, like they
Yeah.
said. Like
Aside
I
from
don't
maybe the
understand.
note, that would be it.
I don't understand though why it caused that much damage. Was she seriously flinging around a moving ceiling fan? Did she literally like was that the plan?
Well, he did knock her down. She, like, fell off from the ceiling, basically. Who knows?
I'm sorry, Takashi. Sayori cried, pulling Sato into a deep embrace. You should
Again.
never have see something like this. No, you poured your heart out to me and I rejected you. So I'm assuming this is from a timeline where the main character makes a choice to Sayori before she killed herself. You either say I love you or you'll be my dearest friend. I'm assuming that this is where they say you're my dearest friend, so you rejected. And I'm assuming they set that up because they want to ship her with Eddie.
Well,
I'm
of course,
assuming
man.
that's.
Well,
Oh
that would
my
just get in the
God.
way of his ships, man.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I
I
mean,
sent you over the edge.
it might I don't know if it would be even more cringeworthy if Sato also had a crush on Sayuri and there was like a love triangle between the two DDLC's
I hate to
characters
say this.
and Ed and Eddy. Just like what?
I hate to say this, Gabe, but they make that exact joke in this chapter.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Awesome.
No, you poured your heart out to me and I rejected you. I sent you over the edge. Sato was shaking and fighting himself not to cry. Ah, yes, it was your fault. It wasn't like the copious amounts of depression and apparently this Tower 6. What? I should be the one apologizing. Ah, yes, apologize, Sato. Yeah, you right.
Mhm.
Please don't blame yourself. I shouldn't have forced all that on you at once. Sayuri nuzzled her head onto Sato's chest. She had no tears left. I was scared. The rain clouds were getting worse. I started seeing things that weren't there, hearing voices that weren't there.
Sounds like more
I
than
get,
depression.
this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite lines on this.
Yeah.
Ready for this, man?
Oh, I'm ready.
I can get you the help you need. My parents know someone who specializes in depression.
Why doesn't he say that before? Like when she brought that up in the earlier conversation, like in the game.
Yeah. She said I had depression, and Sato said it feels like you betrayed me as a friend. Yeah, right.
And now oh god, this is like
Sato
reverse character assassination.
My parents know someone who specializes in depression. That line itself hurts me on so many levels. It's like the most cheap possible plot twist to solve an issue.
Yeah.
And I don't. Gosh darn it! Sato reassured. They are SNS. See no evil, speak no evil. Thank you for that. So you don't have to worry about the mills. That's right, guys. You don't have to worry about the mills. Whatever the heck the mills are.
Yeah, I definitely know who SNEs are and what I have to be worried about the mills. Yeah.
Is this the same rumor mills? Is this like is there multiple mills that exist in this reality and they do different things and one of them's related to depression? Is that what I'm getting? I don't freaking know. This story makes no sense. Like I said yesterday, I've always had problems with depression. I only know this because I was already being treated for it. Ah, yes, the classic. Oh, I know I have depression because I have medication for it. I think there's a few steps there, like, oh, yeah. I already have it, so then I get medication.
Yeah.
And with medication was less of a problem, until a few days ago, Sayuri said. I don't understand, Sato looked puzzled. The night after I took you to meet the club, I started hearing rain clouds. It's like the mills say, happens to victims of Storm Chaser before they die. The rain clouds wasn't a metaphor, Eddy and Sato yelled in unison. I hate it.
This is what were we just talking about, like deconstructing the source material to like mold it into your own story. Like, no, you can't just have a metaphor be a metaphor. It has to be like super literal. Oh, that's so fucking stupid. Come on. Oh.
You were talking about deconstructing the narrative, though?
Yeah, okay. Okay, we're back. There's a bit of technical difficulties. So if the audio levels are a bit more fucky, that's why. Anyways. So I think what I was talking about was oh yeah, this was the definition of just like taking like, you know, what's established in like and just completely like deconstructing it to like fit your own like whatever you want to do. Like it couldn't just be like a metaphor. Like it had to be like a literal fucking thing. That is so stupid. Like that's like the dumbest shit ever.
I actually personally find whenever even TV shows, like cartoons and TV shows that have people yell at unison is always cringy for me. It's never been not cringy.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, right, Eddy and Sato yelled in unison. Okay. Rain clouds, what a metaphor. Does the author really think that like people spontaneously yelling the exact same phrase is just natural? makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. The rain clouds wasn't a metaphor, Eddy and Sato yelled in unison. That's why Kenichi was so defensive during the mill. Eddy realized without uttering a word. A knock came from downstairs, broke the eerie exchange. Coming, Suri called out. I'll see who it is, Eddy volunteers. Not like I was contributing much to the scene anyway.
It's contributing
Yeah.
more than Crunch was. Let's just say that much.
He's trying not to be the Crunch of this story game.
Yeah.
Otherwise
The main character, yeah.
Yeah, the main character, you right. I should have stayed with you last night, Seto lowered his head in shame. You're here now, that's enough. Oh my, by the way, this is not even a problem just with this story, but DDLC as a whole, especially the new freaking DLC for DDLC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just so much apologizing. There's so much. It's so obnoxious and not interesting dialogue. Like,
Yeah.
if I have to listen to 20 minutes of people going, "Oh no, it's fine. You're fine."
That's like
No, I should be apologizing.
It's like the characters from the Looney Tunes, like the Gopher characters, who are just like super polite to each other. And they're like, "Oh, I'm so terribly sorry."
Yeah, but instead of that, it's like there's no other conflict, there's no interesting visual gags. It's literally just them apologizing for 20 minutes. And that's supposed to be interesting to me.
That is very interesting.
Sari gave Sato a genuine smile. The first one she was able to make after being targeted.
Oh, right, yeah, because she didn't have...
The Tower 6.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. A blush grew on Sato's face.
Come the fuck on, man.
Yeah, man, after that, like, intense dialogue, I guess you have to apologize and blush.
Yeah.
Back to the Aaron Ed boy. He wobbled a little bit as he walked to the door. State your business, he said flatly as he opened the door. Well, hello again, McGee-kun.
Ugh. That just doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Monica greeted Eddy with a wave. She was I like how they sometimes do suffixes.
Yeah, you're right.
Monica greeted Eddy with a wave. She was carrying a bag of carry-out boxes. When I said maybe we'll see each other again, I really didn't mean like this. I'm glad that Monica just intuitively understands that Suri killed her and would try to make an attempt. I mean, I guess it makes sense in the game, but not when a mysterious tower targeted her.
Well, yeah, man. Like she's all knowing.
Yeah, I guess that's right. She smells like melon and cigarettes.
That's a very interesting smell combination.
Yeah, remember when you smoke and then you like take
Eat
watermelon? Is this Monica a heavy smoker? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
This is true lore that really needs to be expanded upon.
Yeah, well, maybe her parents are smokers, and it just rubs off on her.
Oh my god, is that going to be explained in later chapters? Oh god, I can actually imagine that. Okay. Eddy thought as he opened the door further. Everyone else is inside. Hey, Suri met her guest as Eddy closed the door behind him. I'm sorry for not calling. Yes, it's your fault, Sayori. We need to feel about how guilty you are. And then Monica goes, oh no, I hate this franchise for all the sorry going on. From what I see before me, you have a very good reason. Monica left it at that as she rose the bag of food in front of Sayori's face. Sayori's eyes sparkled as her president lightly swung the bag back and forth with a mirthful grin. Yours is on top. Monica? Sato asked coming down the stairs. Yeah, I get, how would Monica see the sight before her downstairs when her room's upstairs? I don't know.
Yeah, there's the spatial awareness of this.
Takashi, Monica beamed, letting Sayori nab the bag. Yay, breakfast! Sayori hoisted the bag and marched to the coffee table. Now we just need Yuri and Natsuki to show, and we can have a meeting here. Monica winked at Sato as Eddy snaked around her. Monica huffed. Apparently manners are hard The come by in the States. We have a problem. Sato broke Monika's contemplating with a stern expression. Monika cocked her head, intrigued. The mention of Storm Chaser pulled the group atmosphere into a dense fog of subdued emotion. Monika sighed. I had my suspicions, but I didn't think the myth had merit.
Oh, so she doesn't know that it's like a literal thing. Great. So she really isn't like all knowing, really. She just knows. She just knew that was happening. Great.
You might just say that? Dude, I don't know what the frick this story is going on with. It gets worse than my favorite chapter, chapter 6, where it just goes completely off the rails. According to all these accounts, there is definitely a pattern. Like, you think this is where, like, it's somewhat incomprehensible? There's just some comprehension going on. Mostly shipping, though. It gets much worse as the story progresses. According to these accounts, there's definitely a pattern. Eddy added scrolling through Sato's phone. Why is Eddy scrolling through Sato's phone?
Who knows?
The sound of rain, the voice of the one you admire the most, speaking inner demons, degradation of mental faculties, dry mouth, it's all here. I'm glad this was, like, you know, said about Sayori experiencing this beforehand, instead of just explaining what the symptoms are and then saying after the fact that those were what she was feeling, retrospectively.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they just introduced all that here. I have to emphasize the dry mouth, Sayori replied, gulping her unfortunate, saucy prey. Not a fun time. Everything else is fine, though, Eddy remarked with a smirk. Hee, you know what they say, a little existential drama builds character, Sayori smiled. Ah, yes, put that on a poster.
Ah, yes.
Am I the only one who's acting normal in this equation? Sato yelled angrily. Sometimes laughter helps people. This author, like, he's not a horrible writer, but I can definitely see him taking tropes from anime with, like, the yelling straight man anime trope. And, like, the needless shipping. And, like, the way that they interact. This is definitely a weeb author. This is definitely a weeb author.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes laughter helps people cope in a bad situation. Monika tried to reassure Sato with a pat on the shoulder. It's better than being melodramatic all the time. And he added, cramming a ham and cheese sandwich into his face. Does anyone notice that we're having that 70s show circle scene? Having that 70s show circle scene. I'm glad we're emphasizing this. This is how we spend our time.
Is that 70s show even really that well known in Japan? Is that well known enough to be like a cultural reference in Japan?
That's a good point, actually. Sorry, Muse. She then raised her hand. I nominate myself the Kelso of the group.
Wow, if only I knew what that meant.
Dude, I kept this in because I felt this was kind of cringy, to be honest.
This is very cringy.
Sato clucked his head in frustration and tried to plead to reason. Monika, do you have any ideas? Monika pondered for a few seconds. I'll have to be the Donna of the group. I don't mean that, Sato yelled. Hide every day and try it on and twice on Sundays. Eddy Air 5 Sayori.
Ugh,
I love it.
Sucks.
I hate this game. This story
sucks so much.
I hate this story game. The more I read it, the more I realize how it belongs on the wall of shame. I love it. Sayori gave her seal of approval. Natsuki could be Jackie and Yuri would be Fez. Now Takashi, you have to be Eric by default. What? Sato was incredulous. I don't get to choose. Our character's relationship is canon. Monika blushed heavily. That made me cringe the most in that conversation.
What? Wait, what?
I'm not even necessarily sure whose character she's actually implying because I don't know the 70s show that much.
I don't know that 70s show either.
So I guess Donna and whoever is canonically shipped and she's blushing because of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. To answer your question, Sato, apparently we don't have to do a thing. Storm Chaser never targets the same person twice. Eddy concluded.
That's so convenient.
I'm glad that Eddy, the person who just came to this town a week ago,
knows the most about this.
Yeah, that's right. That just means another person is gonna get targeted when the power comes back on. Seto argued, "We need to destroy it or something." That is uncharacteristically bold of you, suggests Monica remarked, finishing off her pita bread. What are they having? What are they eating?
Well, Eddie's having a ham and cheese sandwich, Monica's eating pita bread, and Sayuri has something that can be referred to as saucy praise, so I don't know.
I removed some of the eating dialogue out because I found it incredibly irrelevant.
Yeah, oh, I can imagine. This is the shit you're keeping in, and this is already, like, yeah.
I could have edited more stuff out, but I just didn't really want to.
Well, you had to keep in the That 70s Show moment.
Oh, I kept that in because I thought it was cringy, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like Gabe should experience that too.
Yeah, this is,
Am I wrong, though? Look at the way the town looks at this situation. Eddie mentioned a storm chaser movement with a bunch of oh-wells, or glad it's not me. There are even death pools that are happening right now. People are betting on who will die first. Want to look away from Sana as a wave of shame washed over her. I like property destruction as much as any delinquent, but the only things that would happen would be we would get jailed and all our work would be undone in a day. Eddie interjected.
I also like how this is, like, subtly rewriting DDLC to, like, where, like, none of this is Monica's fault. Like, all the deaths that happen are, like, implied to be by this completely random other thing. Like, the entire point of DDLC is just getting completely erased away for this person's original storyline about, like, a haunted electricity pole or something.
You know what? I never even thought about that. That is so funny, Gabe. That is so freaking funny. Oh my god.
This is garbage.
Oh my god. He's right, Sato. I'm happy to see you care for the well-being of others, but things like these are just too big for us to handle ourselves. I already had it. Eddie, your uncle's an electrician. Would you have some reference book on the subject we could use? Sato finished her half of the fries.
Oh, okay.
Fries. I guess Monica bought literally everything ever.
Yeah, it's just like a random, like, assortment of foods.
To Muff Maw. I don't know what that means. Eddie gulped. It's like reading another foreign language. I don't even know if they're speaking Japanese or English right now with how Sean... Whatever. I think we need the table this discussion for later, Monica suggested. A twinkle appeared in her eye. Eddie McGee, you know what I'm gonna ask you.
Oh, she didn't say Eddie McGee, she says McGee-kun.
Oh my god.
You can't forget that, Josh. It's an important detail to the story.
Yeah, twist my arm, will you? I'll be there tomorrow with bells on. Eddie grumbled. What are they saying? You won't regret this, Eddie, I promise. Sayuri's eyes sparkled. I think I missed something in the conversation, Sato said. You're the only man in this club anymore. You're not the only man in this club anymore, Sato. Eddie grinned. Looks like we're gonna be rivals now. Sato blinked. When did that happen? Don't overthink it, Eddie laughed. I'm gonna overtake you with my writing skills. After all, it doesn't take much to write your poems, Densky. Eddie rose from his seat, grinning ear to ear. Adventure, romance, tears, heart, passion, fun. Yay, my words, Sayuri injected happily.
I'm just gonna say that, like, Eddie writing, like, it's completely out of character for Eddie to just write poetry just because he feels like doing it, and, like, it seems like a fun thing to do. Like, that is completely, like, not at all within his character.
I also... Oh my frick, dude. Oh my god. And oh my god, no. Oh... I was gonna say something I completely forgot, but this is stupid. I hope you know that.
This is horrible. This is genuinely fucking awful.
Enjoying a game.
This is I know there's supposed to be, oh god, everything about this is terrible. This is like the complete definition of just erasing anything that made these stories, like, unique in terms of, like, anything, and just being like, yeah, I just want to write this garbage.
We're getting to the good part now. Oh, I was about to say also, I hate the fact that Eddy just sort of knows and not knows something at random, despite being a new character randomly introduced here.
Mm.
Like how he automatically knows how Densuke's poems work, despite the fact that they just met like a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Is Eddy a player of DLC? Is that what this is implying?
I don't
This
even
is
know.
so confusing. It's like the author doesn't even know himself what Eddy's supposed to be, despite it being the main character. Like,
He's
legitimately.
basically just like whatever self-insert thing he wants to put in.
It's
Like
true.
he's not even writing a character.
He really isn't. Yay, my words, Sire interjected happily. You know I use complete sentences, Seto leered his younger opponent down, mostly because of the height difference. Now kiss, Monica commanded with a smile. The two men recoiled back to their seats. That's very lewd, Miss President. Sorry, laughed, trying to hide her blush. The group broke into laughter. The lunch chugged along in the shade of a quiet day.
Well, that sucked ass, dude. That's...
I have one more chapter. I might even split this into one chapter segments. Like, I'm gonna read the next chapter, but from now on, I might just read it one chapter at a time.
Or 2 chapters at a time.
2 chapters, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter, man, because...
We're getting
damn
this...
it, dude. This...
Do you want to read this part? You want to read this part?
Oh, yeah, because this is a bit of a different format.
Yeah, this is a different... Yeah.
So do you want me to read the black text?
Oh, yeah, read everything. Read everything.
Oh, right, I can read this chapter just all the way. Okay. Address, hashtag D91B, RM, recording transcript. As far as we know, we don't exist outside the system. At first, it's always hard to swallow. The system creates your past, your identity, and your function from an algorithm no one is allowed to fully see.
This is where it kind of goes off the rails. This is the chapter.
Outside the system, we know we are a small series of letters telling the system where we are. If we die, that series of letters is given to something or somebody else and the system continues like we never even mattered. Without our address, we cease to exist. No death, no remembrance by loved ones, no dreams and aspirations, just a potted plant in your spot. This is the fate of the fileless. Awareness of this fate always comes with it a terrible cost. It's edgy.
Yeah, man.
So epic, self-aware. Okay. Keiichi. Oh, sorry, Storm Chaser. Alternate perspective.
Come on, man.
Keiichi. Somehow I knew this day would be harder than normal. Obe, you need to be strong on her for K-On! You're her father, after all. The gunfire is creeping to us along with the stream. I can't focus. I can barely hold my sidearm without the barrel swerving.
You said like you're completely off the rails.
Okay. Alright.
Going.
I can't oh, sorry. Oh, this is just vermin detail. Nothing we haven't dealt with before. K. These girls are not vermin, Obe. The radio affixed to my chest strap vibrates to life. I try to control my breathing. Whose perspective is this?
It's Kenichi's.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see now. Okay. Inohene, you guys having sex in that truck? Okay. Oh, thought you were dead, Ino. We were celebrating. We finished your side of the reroute. Bring Amagumo to the south. K, how many violets are still in play? One on sight. Don't be fooled by that. She can aim. Are they in a game?
No, they're in real life, man. They're fighting.
Okay. She had a family and friends. No, I can't humanize a corrupted character file. People's lives are at stake. Obey inserts a new cartridge into his rifle. Obey jerks back as the blade bursts through the hull of the truck, narrowly clipping his head. The dagger embedded itself on the opposite wall. The blade was a clip-point Bowie knife with a smooth oak finish on the handle.
I'm glad you had to emphasize or explain louder.
I'm glad I'm glad this is turning into like Call of Duty Zombies. Except with what I assume are corrupted character files.
Yeah, man.
Oh. Well, Eno wasn't kidding about her prowess. You ready? K. No, but that's more me than the situation. I tried to pull the knife out, and with a little resistance, and held it up with a stern expression. Oh, let's earn our address. Okay.
Well, you know, because they talked in the beginning of the chapter about like everyone having their own like file address that indicates where their code are. So they're owning their file and the code. It's actually a relevant part of the plot at the beginning of the chapter.
Oh, okay, alright, okay. Light poured into the truck as the back door bounced back against its hinges with a clang. Obey breached the cover of the truck and raced out into the open air, aiming and firing his AR-15 into the air to his left. I followed out after him, but hooked right, and followed the truck perimeter to the driver's side door. I was able to see the battlefield once I knew my feet were covered by the front tires.
It's just this and shipping with Ed. It's just this freaking.
What the fuck? Does this person, like, know about consistency of tone or, like, fucking anything? Like, the road we were given curved to the right between the river and the small grassy field.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in commas, by the way. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah. Cherry trees lined the road on both sides. My eyes immediately oversaw the fate of Tower 6 in between two of them.
Tower 6?
Tower 6's glowing remains loomed on the other side of the river. The crosshatch of girders threatened to drop the entire tower as they creak in their bolt fixtures. A tall, shadowy figure appeared at my 2 o'clock, followed by a glint of light. I ducked. A response with 2 shots of the 9mm. The figure staggered and fell to the ground, face forward like a puppet without strings. K, I'm sorry. May you find peace in another town. Oh my fucking god, okay. I can't humanize someone already lost, but at least I can give her some dignity. She was a Doki after all. That distinction already gave her death and sorrow before.
What does that mean?
This sucks. Okay. A whistle caught my attention as a shadow loomed over my position. I had to dive out of the way as a bright orange feathered Okay, I had to dive out of the way as a bright orange feathered eagle, as opposed to the non-feathered eagle, of course.
I wanted to see your reaction to this chapter.
Oh my fucking god! The fucking eagle. Okay, a bright orange feathered eagle the size of a 2-story house swooped into the truck with its talons raised. The eagle's talons dug into the truck, causing all the windows on that side to shadow. With a guttural feminine chirp and a flap of its impressive wingspan, the eagle lifted the wrecked vehicle as it climbed in altitude. Oh my god. Okay, sure. My radio vibrated as Obey yelled, "Oh, Kaon, you good? I hate birds." An understatement if there ever was one. Yeah, okay. The eagle discarded her new slippers, landed on... Wait, her?
Yeah, it's remember feminine chirp? It's
yeah. Oh, so the eagle just has slippers now?
No, that's the vehicle. It was a metaphor.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, whatever. The eagle discarded her new slippers, but it's only one vehicle. Whatever.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Landed on a tree and turned herself to face me. Her eyes shined with an ethereal blue glow, contrasting the blood and gore on the bird's face from her earlier meals.
How edgy.
The bird's crown had a ruffled autumn-toned plumage that followed down the back and around the wings to her elongated tail feathers. The underside of the bird had a darker, subdued color. This is really just what the story is now.
Yes, this is
like
what the story is.
Call of Duty zombies and a giant bird. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure when this guy was writing this, he was like, "Oh yeah, people will love this. This is like so compelling." All right.
I think I had a really solid several-minute laugh after I randomly read the line, "The gunfire is creeping to us along with the screams," and I had like a good solid laugh because of just how left field it was.
Yeah, you're like, oh god, okay. The bird had a large diamond-shaped hole in its chest. Something about that hole forced me to look inside, but every time I did, my eyes burned. The bird was too far away to get a good look. All I could decipher of it was that it grew and shrunk as the bird breathed, swirling with miasma of letters, words, and colors. Possibilities. Knowledge.
Oh, is it supposed to be some sort of personification of the poem game from the...
Oh, I thought it was the personification of, like, the code of the game that they're in.
Oh my frick, dude. This is horrible.
Oh, this really is just some... It's just a load of fuck. Alright. K. Gah! I yelp in agony. That's just completely redundant.
Yeah.
Oh god, what am I doing? I have to stop staring at that hole. With a jerk, I try to force myself away. The bird narrowed her eyes at me as if in confusion, and with a caw, began flying again. My vision pulsed. Body feels like it's made of stone. I had no choice but to follow the teasing bird with my eyes as it flew back to the glowing ruins behind the river. See, all I can imagine at this point is Dan Salvato himself being like, I'm gonna read a random fan fiction of my game, and he just chooses this story, and he just gets to the part where two original characters are like scared of a giant fucking bird and just being so fucking confused. Oh god, okay.
Keep in mind, this is chapter 6 of 22.
Yeah. Chapter 6 of 22. We're already just diving into the deep end. Okay. I spot Obe near a fallen violet. He has a pensive expression as he took a knee near the body. He spoke into the radio, but I can't hear what he's saying. Why didn't he look at the bird? Why isn't he noticing that I'm having trouble? I try to call out to him. That's my phone. K. Random strings of characters and letters. Static.
So yeah, it's just a bunch of random letters after him.
Rainbow-colored ooze in front of my feet. I feel sick. Static. No, I can't. This can't end like this. I can't be removed like this. No, I just got my sister back. She needs me. I need to protect her until Dad wakes up. Another random string of letters and characters. This system, this game, this horrible existence may give us no closure, but that bird just gave us the last piece we needed.
Yeah, that bird really gave me a lot of closure.
Yeah.
I was like, man, so much lack of closure. I wish a giant bird came out of nowhere. That would really explain everything for me.
We don't have much time to celebrate. We have business to attend to first. We return.
Is a bird a good thing? I don't understand.
Well, it gives them closure, I guess, but it also kills them.
Yeah. Right.
We don't have much time to celebrate. We have business to attend to first. We return to the scene just ahead of us. Just as the color gives out a cry of agony, Obe-ni is placing pressure with his left hand over the gun wound in her waist. The bird's waist? Or a girl?
I didn't even know Obe was a girl. I'm gonna be perfectly honest.
Oh, Obe's
his uncle.
Yeah, Obe is the girl. It's Obe is the uncle. I don't even know. I can't even pretend to know. I'm just gonna read this. Now's the chance we have been looking for. We raised the raised the Doom Worker's gun. K. Eddy McGee. Okay.
Oh my god, them just randomly saying Eddy McGee after all of this, you know? Yeah, I guess Eddy McGee.
Ed and Eddy, alright. Obey turns to me in surprise. Subconscious fear detected. What? K, your mentor contract is over. We pull the trigger. I guess of the doomed worker's gun. I can't even.
Yeah, what's wrong?
This is the first chapter of this shit, and I've already, I'm starting to lose details. Okay, we pulled the trigger. Address lost. A loud caw reverberates through the cherry trees. The purple-haired girl is coated in... What? Okay. A loud caw reverberates through the cherry trees. The purple-haired girl is coated in grayish ink and glass shards. Too stunned to speak, the traitor's host is already starting to fade away into dust. So is Yuri supposed to be the eagle? Is that what it's implying?
I don't know, Gabe. I don't know. And what's the traitor's host mean?
What the fuck is this? Okay. I aim at the color's head. She seems to ignore our presence, just staring curiously at the dust mound that seems to appear around her. An unexpected reaction from a color. I pull the trigger. Dude.
Wait, no, a violet. I guess a violet's a type of vermin that they fight, and they call it maybe violet's a type of color.
Oh, so what does the color have to do? Are they good or are they bad? I guess they're trying to kill them, so I guess they're bad. But...
yeah, they're trying to kill colors, and I guess a violet's a type of color. They're like.
So is a color like a corrupted file?
Yeah, maybe a violet is a corrupted version of Sayori's character file from a different timeline.
Oh. Okay.
That's so convoluted.
Okay, I pull the trigger.
But there's a bird and there's a corrupted character file, if you remember, because
right.
they killed a figure and then a bird randomly came. So I'm not sure if that. I don't think the bird is Yuri. I think Yuri's the one that was shot, and then the bird came.
Okay. All right. You know what? A shot rings out. No, I think Violet's supposed to be Yuri.
Yeah, that's what I think. But like,
right.
A Violet was killed and then a bird came. There's two different figures, right?
Right. Okay. A shot rings out as we miss and crumble onto the grass. A man matching Inohene's description wrestles our weapons away.
What does that mean? Why can't you say Inohene? Is it a different?
It might be a different person. I don't know. Giving us a strong kick in the area we were shot and severing our connection to the lower extremities. We turn our perspective at the avian abomination above us as Ino picks us up by the collar. He roars pointless questions at us, and we turn our perspective back at him. We then see his face contort from rage to realization, just as he should. Just as he should, of course. He should be realizing something by now. The eyes of our puppets, unfortunately, give away the truth too easily. What truth? A pure white light begins to intensify from the beast above us. Violet. Saki-san, look out. Ino turns to look as the whole pulse and constrict rapidly. He drops us and dives towards the color. This energy looks like a sunbeam. For the fileless, address lost.
Did you like that, Gabe? Did you understand that?
I vaguely understood it up to a certain point and then just completely stopped understanding what the fuck was supposed to be going on. Oh my freaking god. Okay.
Did you understand what I meant by chapter 6 going off the deep end?
And for chapter 5 to be like the most like fluffy, like stupid shipping slice of life bullshit ever. And then it just Talk about fucking whiplash, dude. Like, no consistency whatsoever. Like, I like how this story is just like two polar opposites of complete trash that just happen to simultaneously exist in the same story.
Oh my god. Alright, Gabe, you gotta read the
Alright,
Kenichi's
alright.
final transcript, which I'm assuming is what's played when they die, but I'm not sure how it's being played or what the context of what the heck is this.
Alright, Keiichi, RM, final record transcript. My name is Keiichi Onzai. My RMIN is K-On. A play on my name in the manga series K-On. Well, thanks for explaining.
That's clever. Rumor mill identification name, by the way.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Yeah. Chosen for my past with the Kokoro Academy's anime club, I was president of the club until my dad redacted. I thought Keiichi was, like, working...
Keiichi is Sayori's brother. And
oh.
So that's what I was talking about by explained later. I believe that his dad was deleted as a character file, and I think Kenichi was just deleted this chapter.
Oh.
And so his final record's being played right now, where I don't understand the context of why it's being played or what this is.
I thought he was, I thought he was a co-worker with Obe. Like, I thought he was around the same age as him.
Oh, he is, but he works with, he is Kenichi's, he's Sayori's, remember they told to check on Kenichi's sister? And that's
Sayori, right.
Yeah, he died because remember that, like, random string of characters? I assume that was
the bird killed him, I think, or something happened. Something happened, he died. I got that much. Alright. I was given custody of my little sister to keep her from being a ward of the state. To care for her, I became a responsible adult at 16. I did so many things to keep food on the table and a roof over us. Things that on the outside seemed like I was torturing myself. I fear that maybe that's why Sayori grew resentful of herself over the years. She said before she felt like she was selfish because of the food I didn't eat so she could eat, or the sleep I didn't take this so she could. No, it was just a fucking cloud from like an evil haunted tower.
Yeah,
you don't have to be too hard on yourself, Keiichi. Even to the point of nearly being deathly sick and still continuing, even though she begged me not to.
Can you just, like, eat if you're sick? Darn it, man.
Well, I can't afford it, man.
Oh, shoot.
I pushed myself to keep her life the same standard it was when Dad was with us, but now, I think all I did was push her into greater heartache and loss. Sayori, I choose this life so you can choose yours. That's what I always wanted. You are not selfish. You are loved. Mom and Dad would have said the same. Goodbye, baby sister. The sun is shining, even in the stormy skies.
I really was... I was really, like... I had a hard time figuring out whether to delete these sections or not.
Well, it gives some context for what's going on.
I greatly shortened them, though. There's a lot of redundancies, and, like, ugh. I don't even know who Oliver Jacob McGee is, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, Ollie, RM, final, quote-unquote, record transcript. My name is Oliver Jacob McGee. My RMIN is Obeni. So this is Obe.
So he died? I didn't even know he died.
Well, it's the finals in quotation marks, so I'm assuming he didn't actually die.
Why
it was like a fake death.
Gosh darn it, this fanfiction. I thought they would play during their, like, death, but, like, if they can play during not their death, then I don't understand. Darn it, man. Alright, continue.
I chose that myself because that was one of my niece's nicknames for me when she was a baby, and I want to give this transcript to her first, if at all possible. So this is Eddy's sister, I think, right?
Oliver?
No, the niece. Oliver's niece would be Eddy's sister.
My name is Oliver Jacob McGee.
Yeah. Who's the uncle of Eddy, so his niece would be Eddy's sister.
Naomi is
Naomi.
Sister.
I was a reformed scammer, a jack of all trades, and knew way too much about the world than I had any right to.
Is a scammer a jack of all trades?
Well, he's a scammer and a jack of all trades.
Okay.
Naomi, I just want to say that I love you. Your dad and granddad love you, and your sisters love you too. I know this tape is probably not helpful to how you're feeling right now. Believe me, being brought up to speed wasn't gravy when it happened to me either. I hope this will bring back something they took from you before you became you. I don't have much time left. Hopefully you'll still be alive by the time I return. Either way, be good, Naomi. I'll see you soon. Did he, like, jump into the bird's chest? Is that what happened?
What? Maybe? I don't know.
Cause he's saying, I hope you'll still be alive by the time I return. And it's like, it's talking?
Maybe during some future you could return all the people that character files were deleted. Because it does say, like, if Dad returns or something, Dad wakes up from Kenichi's, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't have... And also, I don't understand what... This is actually from the author. This is not me adding.
Yeah, this appears to be edited. Can't find the original transcript. Too boring to search. Sorry. Q.
Oh, okay? That makes it even more confusing. What's the context or perspective of these transcripts?
Ito Hene, radio. Reroute complete. Power restored. Storm Chaser is lost. Those of you still alive, leave this area and never speak of this again. Beginning abstraction and rollback. Perspective end. Storm Chaser sequence end. Kokoro Culture Festival begin.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh! Well,
yeah,
that was some hot ass. That is probably the quickest the story has completely fucking lost everything.
Yeah, Gabe. Yeah, you think so?
I can't believe how quickly the story just completely flew off the fucking rails. So, from what I understand, this was...
You do not believe me?
Weren't they talking, okay, in an earlier chapter about, like, how they go in and, like, they have to, like, repair the tower, but they never do?
Oh, yeah, they have to repair
I think this is, like, what happens when that happens.
Yes.
Because some stupid fucking bird and like... and like corrupted characters that are called colors, I assume.
Yes.
And then stuff happened, and I have no fucking clue anything. I just don't know, man. This is just so confusing, and they just don't explain fucking anything.
I think the thing that bothers me most is the rumor mill identification name. That still bothers me more than anything else. Sorry.
Yeah, and well, it's acting like the rumor mill has something to do with, like, their final words, right?
Maybe?
Like, their final record in the rumor mill is, like, their, like, you know, their will, basically, you know?
I don't know, Gabe.
Wow, this, I can definitely see why this is on the wall of shame.
Yeah, Gabe, you finally understand my pain when I first read this story.
I mean, chapter 5 was terrible in its own way, but this is just next level. Like, this is fucking garbage, dude.
If you want to know the context, so I went to chapter 12. I read the frickin' line.
Right.
I went to chapter 6 out of coincidence. No, I went to chapter 1 and 2 and read that. Then I went to chapter 6 and it just went, like, so off the rails.
You were reading about guns and giant fucking birds.
I really want to take, like, the final memento to this whole series we're gonna write and we're gonna do on whatever YouTube or whatever the heck. I want to do a final memento of all the crazy out of context shenanigans that happened in this story.
Yeah.
And we're absolutely gonna put in, like, the gunfire and the screams. The gunfire is creeping to us along with the screams. And also it says you need to be strong for her, Kaelin. You're her father after all. I guess that's because it's this took responsibility for her father role. Whatever. I don't care.
Anyways, well, we'll continue reading this story next time, and I'm sure it's gonna be... I'm sure it's just gonna keep descending into this fucking madness, so...
Do you want me to give you a brief, like, what you may see next time?
No, you know what? We'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh, I'm glad
I'm gonna go in completely blind to this garbage.
Oh, good.
So yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, bye, man. Yeah, have fun with your life.